I'm Shirakawa from OE Transport. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you for being here. In a previous video, you mentioned that it's difficult for new players to enter the horse transport industry.
Yes.
I'd like to hear more about that in detail.
Basically, well, to start a transport company, you need at least 5 trucks.
Right?
Per location. In the past, until recently, technically, you could use passenger-style vans or commercial vehicles.
Like a Corolla Fielder?
Well, in terms of shape, that kind of van could get a blue license plate, so people use them to make up the numbers. You'd have 2 trucks and 3 vans for a total of 5.
I see.
But that's also becoming much more strict now. And when it comes to how hard it is to start with 5 actual horse transport trucks these days, it's probably impossible to buy 5 new ones all at once, especially given the price. Even for us, even with the manufacturing company we've worked with for a long time, there's a 2 or 3 year wait just to build 1 or 2 trucks. So in that situation, would they even take an order from a new customer?
Oh, to begin with.
Yes.
Right.
That's the problem. If you can't generate profit for years until you've built 5 trucks, would you really want to enter the market? And for drivers, long-distance transport drivers need the skills to handle horses. When you think about how to train them, it's truly difficult for new players to enter. Even just considering that makes it hard. Now, as I mentioned before, I did say that there might be a glimmer of hope, but to be honest, the number of companies that can build these trucks, whether it's decreasing or increasing, the number is just barely being maintained. However, among the 3 major manufacturers known until now, Trabas in Sapporo, Tokyo Tokusu Shatai in Tokyo, among them the one in Kyoto has withdrawn from horse transport trucks. Trabas in Sapporo has also seen its annual production capacity decrease. There are issues with business succession for employees, and as laws keep changing, we have to adapt and change the design of the trucks, which is quite difficult. Having to change the shape every time we build one requires a lot of know-how. It's a new challenge, and no matter how much know-how you have, it's still a challenging task. So as for why we can share this now, it's likely because we've found at least one company that can manufacture horse transport trucks. And as a company, we've already placed an order, we're at the stage of having requested production, or we've decided to start our own department for that. I think that's the situation. As for the reason why it is truly impossible for new players to enter, you see,
Yes.
it's really impossible to get horse trailers these days. And for us, or well, for companies like Nippon Bahitsu, the more trailers you own, the harder it's becoming to even maintain that number. And if the number of new ones being built is so low, naturally you just won't be able to keep up your fleet size. They'll just keep decreasing, and if they decrease, no matter how many drivers you hire, you physically won't be able to transport anything. That's the situation we're facing. So, while talking with people in the horse racing world, I personally reached out to, well, dozens of companies across the country, and almost all of them turned me down immediately. Right now, a horse trailer costs around 65 million yen. Well, maybe not quite 65 million before tax. That's what we're paying to have them built. But I've asked, if you're a new player, we'll pay 100 million yen, so won't you build them for us? It's not that our company is rich or has money to burn. It's a problem for the whole industry, so if everyone has no choice but to build them even for 100 million yen, well, we'd have to pass that cost on to the shipping rates, of course. But even so, if no one new starts building trailers, this industry really has no future. They say, we won't build them even for 100 million. In the end, even if they handle various custom vehicles, they don't have the know-how for horse trailers. The expertise is just different from other vehicles, so they need to dedicate specific staff to it, and it requires capital investment. If they already have equipment that can be adapted for horse trailers, they could invest for less than 100 million. But then there's the staffing issue. They're already at full capacity, just serving their current customers. It's not as simple as saying, we'll build horse trailers because the profit margin is high. Well, that's true. Even if there was a company I could ask, I wouldn't trust them unless the management had that kind of integrity.
What do you mean by that?
I mean prioritizing their existing customers. No matter how profitable a new deal might be, prioritizing existing clients is something I'd value in a partner too. It was more the venture-style companies, the ones looking to grow quickly, that said things like, "We'll look into it." But the precision would be completely different from what companies like Trabus are building now. They might look similar, but you'd expect some defects or issues to crop up somewhere. But even that is within my acceptable range. After all, they'll get better at it as they build more units. I'm willing to be patient with that. I guess you could say that's the mindset I'm searching with as of this recording before the video's release.
As for Oyunso, we'll keep sharing all the knowledge we have, so we really want others to join in. What's the main thing? Is it the design? What's the hardest part?
It's everything. You need designers, you have to do welding, build the frame, it's really everything. But really, let's say you do it in-house. Suppose you find one or two companies. Say you find a couple of companies. To be honest, looking at the current situation, it's the same for other companies. From the time they say they've started, it takes about 2 years to finish the first one.
2 years?
It's an emergency. If we don't do something now, the future is at risk. The whole horse racing industry is at risk.
We won't make it in time, yeah.
I want as many as possible to join. Even if 1 or 2 companies start, it won't be enough, right?
There's the driver shortage, of course, but there aren't nearly enough vehicles either.
That's right. And in the videos I'm releasing now, I'm talking about hundreds of millions. I've said that if 100 million isn't enough, then 150 million is fine. I've gone that far. The price of horse transporters might skyrocket because of that. You really have to make a certain amount of profit. Everyone is struggling these days with passing on important skills, so they need to keep people working steadily. And also bring in new people as well. That's why we need to charge more, or rather take more profit per unit. They're building them, but there's no vision for expansion. The transfer of skills just isn't keeping up.
It's like the people actually building them are retiring before they can pass it on.
Exactly. When I visited recently, the veterans, the older, more experienced workers, were coming in maybe about 3 times a week for relatively short shifts, trying to teach and guide the younger and mid-level staff. But now every single one of those older workers is gone.
Wait, so they probably didn't finish passing everything on then?
Probably. So it's like learning by watching. I'm sure some of it was passed on, but I guess they're in a spot where they just have to figure it out as they go.
Things like that don't really get manualized, do they?
No, they don't.
Especially in small businesses, right?
I've heard that they even go so far as to carefully fine-tune the dimensions from the blueprints while they're actually on site working on the project. So you really can't just build it exactly according to the drawing as it is. The JRA is taking some steps to address this, but unless the manufacturing industry gets some kind of support, it's really, well, those listening this far can probably imagine. If I talk about this for even 5 minutes, people realize, oh, horse racing is finished.
Because they won't be able to keep going.
Well, even if we could continue, we'd have to reduce the number of racetracks, especially with the 2024 problem. Information is already coming out that things will get even tougher beyond the 2024 problem. If that happens, racetracks in Hokkaido and Kokura in Kyushu will definitely become unviable. In that case, to maintain the number of venues and racetracks, we might have to consider building or creating new ones closer to Miho or Rito. It might just come to that. If the supply of horse vans can't keep up, we won't be able to transport them, even if we build new racetracks. As for seeing some kind of light at the end of the tunnel, well, by the time this is released, it'll be the bare minimum. The supply definitely isn't keeping up. However, one company has started doing it. There are people willing to pay hundreds of millions. If that's the case, I hope the trend of let's try it too spreads across the industry. That's the idea. Well, but here's the thing. Prices will definitely come down eventually. The prices of existing manufacturers will go up. Since there are places building them for 100 to 150 million, we can clearly say, look, we actually need this much too. As we gain know-how through building, the pace will quicken. The annual production numbers will increase. When that happens, the clients will start saying, lower the price a bit. They'll say, aren't you taking too much profit? Well, at first, capital investment will be necessary, so we'll just have to bear with it for now.
The easier it becomes to have them built, the more prices will stabilize, right?
That's absolutely right.
And the cycle will improve too.
Well, I think a fair price will eventually emerge at some point. The build for horse transport in Hokkaido is different from race transport, so I'd really like to see more entries into race transport as well.
True, race transport is probably in the same price range, I'd imagine,
Yes, it is.
even if the equipment is a bit different.
It seems the supply just isn't keeping up.
So everyone's just repairing old vehicles over and over and using them for a long time. It's the same everywhere.
Right, what I'm often asked by the farms is, are there any used horse lanes? Any coming up? But even at Ohe.horseline, we're at full capacity, repairing and making professional calls, using each vehicle for a long time. As long as new ones aren't coming in, that's the reality. It's the same for companies like Nihon Bahitsu. They can't release any because they can't build new ones. The used market is also quite tough, or rather, well, it's a multi-year wait.
It's not moving.
It's been like that for quite a while now. I'd really like to see some new players into the market.
Ohe.horseline will provide as much know-how as possible,
That's right.
and we can pay the necessary amount per vehicle. So let's go ahead and build them together, step by step.
Exactly. Other companies should pay too. I'm moving forward within the range of what must be paid, though freight rates will naturally skyrocket. Otherwise, horse racing will either shrink significantly, though it might not disappear entirely, but major thoroughbred breeding areas like Hidaka and Iburi might move to Honshu, and unless that happens, it'll be really hard to keep horse racing going. It's a heavy topic, but I think this is being released as a glimmer of hope appears, so we look forward to more people joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ohe Transport is currently looking for drivers. Please check out our recruitment and corporate sites in the description, and if you're interested, we'd love for you to apply.